WFNB Brazil, Terre Haute, a true Wabash Valley radio legend.
It is B92.7. I am Matt Leuking.
Thanks for the memories, Matt Leuking, from all your friends at B92.7.
If you ever leave me, baby.
It's today's best music on B92.7. Good afternoon to you. It's Jamie Dawson, Kyle West in the studio as well. Paying tribute to our buddy Matt Leuking and celebrating his life today with a lot of fun stories and an opportunity to really, I don't know, feel uplifting for a couple hours in a week that's just been absolutely terrible. So as we go through the next 3 hours, we're going to talk to a lot of folks. Who do we have lined up, Kyle?
Our first person we'll talk to will be Elvis Duran from the morning show here at B92.7. We'll talk with him about 3:15 or so. We've got some former coworkers of Matt, Ben Davis, Steve Smith, Chad Edwards, Apollo, Aaron Green, Jules going to stop by in just a bit. We have a pretty big list of guests. We've got some other friends from Matt that's going to stop throughout the day as well.
It's going to be a great show. We hope that you can join us throughout the afternoon as we visit with those people and tell some stories as well. Kyle, do you remember when we went to Cincinnati with Matt to the baseball game, and he would not stop talking about his health coach?
Yes, his health insurance had a program to save on your premium. If you listen to instructions from a health coach, you save some money. So we're driving to the ball game. We got free tickets from somebody, and it's about a 2-hour, 45-minute drive to Cincinnati. I drive a little fast. Sometimes I can make it in 2.5. And the whole way over, he's ranting about his meeting with his health coach. He just didn't understand why he had to do this health coach thing to get a discount, but he wanted to save some money, so he was doing it. And so Jamie and I heard about the health coach. We're at the ball game. We tried to get a hot dog, and, Jamie puts it up to his mouth, and Matt goes, health coach. So we felt guilty about eating hot dogs at the game.
All about the health coach.
So on the way back, we stopped to get some gas, and I think Jamie went to the bathroom, and Matt said, I'm going to go get something inside. So he gets something, and neither of us see what he gets. And we get all the way back to Terre Haute and drop Matt off. He'd kind of fallen asleep between Indy and Terre Haute. And so we drop him off. He leaves, go to Jamie's house, drop him off. Jamie goes to get something in the back seat and realized that Matt had left his purchase from the convenience store in the back seat.
Which was?
A big bag of mini powdered sugar donuts and a 1 liter of Coca-Cola Classic.
It was the family size bag, man.
It was the family size bag. And I said, health coach.
That's the health coach.
That's the health coach.
We couldn't have hot dogs, but Matt had his family size bag of powdered donuts.
He still claims that day it wasn't his.
They were not his.
But they weren't mine or yours. They were somebody's.
Whose could they have been? Hashtag health coach.
Yes.
More stories throughout the afternoon as we celebrate the life of Mr. Matt Leuking. Today's best music is on the all-new B92.7. Good afternoon. We are doing Matt Leuking's tribute show. My name's Jamie D. Kyle in the studio as well. And we've got a very special guest on the line right now, Mr. Elvis Duran. How are you, sir?
Hey, Kyle. How's Jamie? How you guys doing? How you holding up today?
We're doing all right. It's been a rough week, but we're hoping to take the next couple of hours and put a positive spin on it and really celebrate Matt. That's our goal.
If whoever's listening who is not in radio, you probably will understand when I describe something to you. The family within a radio station is very unique. We're a bunch of misfits. We're a bunch of different kind of people. And that's why we all get along and we all form these families in these radio stations, just like you guys have there. And when you lose a family member, especially how you lost Matt, it's just the saddest thing. It cuts so deep. And I'm just so sorry that you guys are going through this right now, and for his family as well. And I'm so sorry. I really am.
But we appreciate that. And to go along with families. Radio people are fiercely loyal to one another, and
absolutely.
The idea that this kind of thing happened in our radio family is unfathomable. But the support that we've received from our radio family here at MS, from other stations across town, and then the words we've received from people across the country, just unbelievable. I mean, radio people are just loyal to one another, and the support was great. In fact, the flowers we received from a number of people, including you, were phenomenal as well.
People listen to the radio for the same reason we got into radio, because it's fun. You listen to your favorite people on the radio just like, Matt, you guys, just because you're our friends, you know, that's how I got into radio. I was a loner kid, and I didn't have a lot of friends, and I would turn on the radio and hear fun. I would hear music and contests and bigger than life this and that and stories about celebrities. It's supposed to be fun. And so sad things are never supposed to happen in radio. They just aren't. It's not allowed. So when it does happen, it really is an awful tragedy. And I love how what you said a second ago. I love how you're celebrating. I mean, I think we should all celebrate, you know, every day we have to make a difference in other people's lives, and you guys are doing it right now. But you do have to stop down, and you have to, like, go, whoa, you know, we have so much to be grateful for.
Well, you know,
we really do.
And that was kind of Matt's mantra. Matt lived by the hashtag blessed for another day. He tagged so many posts on his social media with that. And, you know, it was one of those things that at times you maybe chuckled about because, you know, Matt's at it again with his super positivity. But that's who Matt was. And it's hard to live through something like this, but not feel like yet we are blessed for another day. And Matt is reminding us of that yet again.
You know, I have this dumb thing I live by. It's like you live every minute to the fullest because you never know when a piano is going to fall out of a window. You know, you never know when it's your last minute.
Yeah.
And I, like, for instance, I was reading Jamie. You were talking online about how you used to play basketball with Matt, and was that you? It was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And you're like, one day you're playing basketball with someone, or you're out enjoying life with your best friend, or your boyfriend, or your girlfriend. You just never know. And I'm not trying to paint a bleak picture about the future for any of us, but you just never know. And I hope that we can take from these awful things, we can take a positive note just to remind each other to be kind to each other, to love each other. And I sure do, like I said, I sure do feel for you guys. And if there's anything you need, please let us know.
I appreciate that, Elvis. Appreciate you taking the time to reach out to us today. And you know what you did the other day on your show was phenomenal as well. The support we received is just been great. Thank you so much, sir.
Well, you know, it's times like this. I'll let you go. I know you guys are busy, but this is when radio is most important to people. When we can definitely highlight the humanity that we all can continue to have and demonstrate even through the worst of times. And so, you know, as sad as these times are, we'll all look back on these days and go, God, you know what? Thank God we had the radio to turn to, or thank God I could go on the air and talk about our friend we lost, because it was so helpful to everyone to get through it and to move on. And there you go. Best of luck, guys. If you need anything, like I said, please let me know.
Yes, thank you so much, Elvis. We really do appreciate it. And again, thanks for taking the time today. Thanks for yesterday. And if anybody was listening or did not listen to Elvis yesterday, which if you didn't listen, shame on you. He's every morning 6 to 10 on B92.7. But he had a great message yesterday, and we have that audio on our website at B927FM.com. I encourage you to log on and check that out.
All right, God bless you guys, and hang in there, okay?
Same to you, Elvis.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Elvis Duran. He's back tomorrow morning between 6 and 10 right here on the new B92.7.
Today's best music is on the all-new B92.7. It's our Matt Leuking tribute show. And if you know Matt, if you ever ran into Matt, you know how passionate he was about music. And it was music of all kinds. He really would like it. In fact, did you ever hear him, Kyle, walk into a studio or talk about a song? And it was very clearly either that's a hit or that's a stiff.
A stiff, yeah. A stiff is what we call in radio a song that gets released and people think it's going to be a big song, and then it gets to like number 36 on the chart and then just dies.
Yeah. So, I mean, we would walk in time this ages us a bit. We'd walk in and say something like a Christina Aguilera song or something from 15 years ago, and he just walked by and he'd go, "It's a stiff."
It's a stiff.
That's really, I mean, it was
in fact, he did that to me, that exact phrase last week.
Really? It's a stiff?
Yeah, it was a stiff. It was a new song from, I can't remember who it was.
It doesn't matter because it was
Doesn't matter. It was a stiff.
And, he was honestly usually right about that. But then aside from that, he had his core artists that he loved. He loved Gavin DeGraw. He loved Edwin McCain. He loved Hall & Oates.
Prince.
He absolutely loved Prince as well. And he and I shared a love for Matchbox 20. We went to a number of shows, a number of Rob Thomas solo shows, a number of Matchbox 20 total concert shows, and I think this was his favorite Matchbox 20 song.
She got out of town
This is B92.7. It's today's best music. Hi, I'm Jamie D. It's our Matt Leuking tribute show as we pay tribute to our friend who was taken tragically from us earlier this week. But we're trying to have an uplifting, celebrating kind of show as we tell a lot of stories and celebrate the life of Matt Leuking. And we've got two special guests in the studio from some of our old broadcasting days. We've got Tara Summers on the line all the way from, where are you, Tara?
Well, I'm in Oregon right now.
That's what I was thinking. You were in Oregon. I can't remember if it's Oregon or Washington. Those are all like the same place in my mind because I'm stupid. But you're in Oregon, and then we have Heather. We used to work with Heather back in the day. She's in the studio. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Jamie and Tara. How are you guys?
Well, we're celebrating Matt.
Yes, we are.
And everybody has a story where Matt impacted their life. And the thing and I want to see if you guys feel the same way. One of the special qualities I feel like Matt had is that he listened and retained so much information that when he came back and talked to you like later on, he remembered stuff and he would ask you about, the movie that you saw or the thing that you liked or your favorite music or whatever. I mean, it was like he made you feel really personal and special. Is that fair to Matt?
Yes.
Think so, Tara?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, I've been reading on things and everyone relates to the music aspect of it. But like you're saying, it went beyond just music or a lyric or a deep cut in a CD that, this song may have been the one that's been played on the radio, but having conversations about the song that nobody really has heard except for maybe you two, and then bringing it up a little, maybe even a year or so later, and being able to apply that to a situation in just the perfect way. Yeah,
he was just amazing at it. What kind of brought this up was Heather just a couple minutes ago was telling us a story about singing, and it's like he finds Heather at a karaoke spot and immediately says, "Hey Heather, let's sing."
It was Cheeseburgers in Paradise when Apollo did karaoke there on Tuesday nights, I think, and it was just a random night with everybody, and I wasn't going to sing a song, and he was like, "No, let's sing a song together." And he was like, "Well, what Bon Jovi song do you want to sing?" And I was like, "I don't know, like, we'll just do Wanted Dead or Alive." And he went up and told Apollo, and we sang a duet for Bon Jovi, Wanted Dead or Alive. So
that right there was Matt knowing exactly the band to say to get you up on stage
exactly.
and to make you feel comfortable and have
exactly.
a good time.
You don't like Bon Jovi, right?
I don't. Not at all. Yeah, not my cup of tea. Not at all.
Tara, what's one thing that you see, hear, experience that instantly makes you think of Matt Leuking?
For me, and this is weird because, again, we are a radio family, right? But the thing that was our connection was movies. He and I probably were the two that I think saw any movie that would come out. And it could be cheesy, and we would sometimes even go to see really cheesy movies that nobody wanted to see, and we'd be sitting there at the Prince of Me because we like Julia Stiles. And then we would have these in-depth conversations about a movie, Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights. This is the kind of thing where we would really break it down and be serious about it, but not really. I don't know, just being able to have those movie conversations, music, talking about the artist. But mostly, the guy lived and breathed music and radio and the community, and this has been reiterated over and over again, and I really probably can't add too much more to it. So for me personally, whenever I like Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights, cheesy movies like this, that was my, hey, Matt will go see this movie with me. And he would. He'd be like, yeah, sure, why not?
That's awesome. In all the conversations I've had with people this week about Matt, many of those other things have come up, but I don't know that anybody's mentioned movies. So you might have a little bit more unique connection with Matt than maybe some others that you guys, again, are the only two people that ever saw that film.
Right, exactly.
Well, you guys bought the only DVD. Nice work.
Yeah, Julia Stiles needed to be paid, so we were trying to help out.
That's good stuff. Well, Tara, we appreciate you taking a few moments and calling all the way from Oregon. That's on the other side of the country, from what I understand.
That's what they say. Yeah, I'm over near the Pacific. I think you guys are landlocked, if I do remember right.
We've got
Indiana,
the
no
Wabash.
ocean.
We've got the Wabash.
That's true.
In fact, I'm gonna send Heather over in a second to dip her toe in the Wabash, just like you probably do in the Pacific.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Hey, Tara, we appreciate you taking a few moments and calling in this afternoon. Heather, we appreciate you stopping by.
Not a problem.
Celebrating your life.
Big love to all of you.
Our
Love you.
Beloved Matt Leuking.
Yes.
Maybe we should take a break.
It's B92.7 playing today's best music and tributing our friend Matt Leuking. We have Matt had a lot of friends in Terre Haute. Also had a lot of friends all across, but pretty much everywhere. Kyle.
Everywhere. I mean, we've heard from people in probably at least 15, 20 different states. It's crazy the reach that Matt had, that he touched a lot of people's lives, maybe friends of certain bands or friends of other radio people he met at weddings that he played weddings at. It's crazy the amount of people that knew Matt and just loved Matt.
The number of people that messaged me and said, I'm not in Terre Haute anymore, but I need to hear. So you got an app or something.
Yeah.
The number of people who are listening online, it's crazy. Like Matt would be ridiculously proud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a tribute to who he was as a person.
He's just an awesome guy. In fact, we've got another one of our former coworkers, a friend of Matt for many, many years, Chad Edwards. You remember him from years ago here on the radio in Terre Haute. Has a special message for Matt.
What can you say about Matt? Matt was the guy I referred to as dummy. And at no point did I ever think Matt was dumb. But it was just one of those names that came out one day and it stuck. And I remember the day that I decided that I wasn't going to say it anymore because I didn't want him to believe that he was really dumb. And I didn't call him dummy. I called him Matt. And that afternoon he came to me when I was on the air. And he said, "Hey, what did I do to make you mad?" I said, "What do you mean?" "You didn't do anything." He's like, "Well, you haven't called me dummy all day, so I thought you were mad at me." So I went back to calling him dummy. He knew he wasn't dumb, but it was just us. That was our banter back and forth. I would call him dummy and tell him he was dumb, and he would have a few expletives to say to me, and that was our banter every day. But if you sit and you look at Matt, and I'm not going to remember Matt for being dumb. I'm not going to remember Matt as the guy that had Post-its all over his office. I'm going to remember Matt as the guy that was passionate. He was passionate about radio. Matt loved radio. Matt loved music. And Matt loved to entertain. And that's what he did. He entertained when he was on the radio. He entertained when he did weddings. He put so much time and effort into every single wedding just to make sure that everybody had a good time. And it was a memorable occasion. And I remember him as the guy that had so much passion for his community. Matt was the kind of guy that would do anything to make his community a better place. And I think that the Wabash Valley is a better place because of some of the work that Matt did do. And I think all I can do now is pray for his family, pray for his friends, and say thank you, Matt, for everything you've done, for our friendship, for the Wabash Valley, for radio, for music. God bless.
Today's best music is on the all-new B92.7. I'm Jamie Dawson. We're doing a tribute for our friend Matt Leuking, and I know one of Matt's biggest friends and biggest fans is Troy, joining us in the studio now. Troy, I met you probably 15 years or so ago through Matt, and you guys just had this almost instant, inseparable friendship.
Absolutely. It's been amazing being part of his life over these years, and I was very blessed to have had dinner with him on Saturday. So it's I just can't say enough about the guy. Absolutely, we just became like friends, almost like brothers on day one.
When I think about my relationship with Matt, it wasn't radio. It was radio, and it was stuff at the Chamber of Commerce, and it was talking wedding DJ stuff, and it was playing basketball, and it was going to an ISU game, and there were so many pockets of things, so many compartments that Matt fit in for me, and I think you're probably a lot like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it was amazing what the relationship we had. It was from everything from Chamber of Commerce dinners to music to obviously I helped him with his business for many years doing Showtime Music and the
You were his roadie.
I was, if you want to call that. Yeah, we had we affected a lot of lives in the Wabash Valley. Obviously, performed many countless weddings over the years.
It's awesome that you were able to come by. I know it's a tough week for you, like it's a tough week for all of us, but we appreciate you able to stop by and spend a few minutes with us and celebrate the life of our buddy Matt Leuking.
Absolutely, I couldn't think of not doing this for him. Really, I'm going to miss him, of course, and I just can't. I'm just blessed to be part of his life over the last 20-some years that I've known him, and the 26 years that he's been in the Wabash Valley performing weddings for people and DJing events.
Hey, thanks for coming in, Troy.
Absolutely. Thank you, buddy.
It's B92.7. We play today's best music, and today we pay tribute to Matt Leuking. We've got a good friend of Matt Leuking and a good friend of the Wabash Valley on the phone right now. Steve Smith, how are you, sir?
Jamie, I'm doing okay, everything considering. How are you doing?
Exactly the same. I'm hoping in this pocket of a couple hours we can really celebrate Matt and tell some stories and laugh a little bit and maybe at least enjoy this afternoon and what has been just an absolutely awful week.
Absolutely, and this is the time to definitely celebrate Matt Leuking. And we had so many stories, especially the three of us. I think of you, me, Ben Davis at the time. We had Tara Summers, Angie Baines, just the whole crew. I think of all the stuff we did back there at the other radio station. When I think of Matt, I think of all those rallies in the valleys we had to do at the Ballyhoo. Pizza and Pepsi in the park. We'll never forget those things, right?
We were just talking about that. Save Matt a pizza, would you?
And I remember Matt and I, Matt was music director when I was there, and I was program director eventually, and we talked a lot with record labels, and we worked on a lot of those concerts we did at Fairbanks Park every spring, I think, on Memorial Day, and he and I would book a lot of those bands, Heck, we had Chubby Checker there at one point. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Come on, baby.
Plus, we had people that were coming up in the industry and people that were coming down, like Deep Blue something. I don't know, there's a long list of...
Boys
I know
and
you were a
Girls
big fan
United.
of Tamora, right, Jamie?
Tamora. You got to make sure to get her microphone correct. She needs a headset mic, Steve.
Yes, she was fun.
She'll be on Tamora.
Always. Always Broadways, right?
Oh, gosh.
You got to have some inside jokes. Someone that worked at Mix FM is laughing right now hearing this, right?
This is taking a turn. Quite the turn. Well, you mentioned those summer concerts, and it reminds me of one of my favorite Matt stories. He was going to sing with Dave Hunt and the Mac Daddies. Do you remember this? He's going to sing with Dave Hunt and the Mac Daddies, and they've talked about this all ahead of time. And then he gets up on stage, and Dave says, "Hey, Matt, you want to come sing with us?" And Matt grabs the mic, and he's so humble that he's like, "Oh, you want me to sing with you? You really want me to sing?" Well, I haven't practiced or anything. I'm just not really sure. I'm like, he goes, "I think I'll sing a Goo Goo Dolls song." And I'm like, the one that you printed out the lyrics that are sitting on your desk and you've been working on for the last week or so. That was total Matt, but he played it off because he was an entertainer. Oh, you want me? Oh, okay. Gosh, I could do this off the cuff.
Yeah, that's how he was. You played Bright Lights by Matchbox 20. I texted you about this, but that was a song that I know he loved. And, boy, we definitely went to some Matchbox 20 shows together with Matt. I know we went to Champaign-Urbana at one point, Indianapolis, I think Chicago at some point, too. He loved that band, and I know we all did as well. And I got to say, I hate the circumstance, but it's really great. It's connected. Jamie, you and I haven't talked, I don't know, about a year or two, every once in a while on social media or something, but same with Ben Davis, people we just don't see very often. Ironically, Matt was the person, for whatever reason, I kept in touch with the most. I talked to him about a week ago. We discussed all the recent, radio changes in Terre Haute. He emailed me on Friday, actually. It was the last email I got from him, which, of course, I've saved, and I'll treasure that. But this has brought us all back together again, which I know Matt would enjoy.
When you talked to him, did he tell you what were hits and what were stiffs?
That's right. I remember those stiffs. Definitely, indeed.
That's right. It's a stiff, Steve.
It's cool to hear from I heard Tara Summers a minute ago, Chad Edwards, and I remember, I was telling my wife Janet about, he used to call Matt Dummy, but it was like a term of endearment to him. Anytime he'd be, when he'd come in for work, "Hello, dummy." And when he told that story, I'm like, oh my God, Chad remembers that too, and that's just the way it was.
I haven't thought about that in years.
We were just a fun bunch.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, people talk about how Matt would, give the proverbial shirt off his back, and I think we'd all agree that he would. I was thinking, you mentioned Matchbox 20. We went to a Matchbox 20 show, and I don't know if you remember this. We went to a show at the Field House in Indianapolis, and it was Matchbox 20 and Lifehouse back when they were relevant, and someone
Everclear.
else. Was it Everclear? I
think it was. Yeah, I think so.
All right, we'll go with that. And so you guys went back to meet Matchbox 20, and you only had so many backstage passes or whatever, and I didn't get to go. And I was a little disappointed. I was probably a 20-year-old punk, and probably let it be known that I was disappointed. And somehow after that was the Lifehouse meet and greet, and Matt rips the thing off of his shirt, the little sticker thing, and tells me to go back. And and I mean it was Lifehouse, not Matchbox 20, but that's like what he could do in that particular moment to make me happy and to try to help out his friend. He's like, here, I don't need to go meet Lifehouse. Why don't you do it? And I went back instead.
That's an awesome memory. Yeah, that's how Matt was. We all loved our concerts. Boy, things have slowed down for me a little bit more. I'm more apt to go to a baseball game for my son than I am to go to a concert or meet and greet these days. We'll still get to a few, but boy, all the concerts we went to, and Matt just had a great relationship too with all the record labels. And the record reps, for those of you outside the radio industry, those are the people that we deal with from the record companies to try to get the songs on the radio. And we would do record rep roulette. We'd name, all right, who was that rep from Columbia 5 years ago? He would know the names. He just had a memory like an elephant. He never forgot anybody and just had great relationships with everybody in the radio and record industry.
He would tell me years later, I mean, within the last 3 or 4 years, we would almost play that same sort of game. And he would say some name like Rick Sudikoff. And then
Atlantic.
And then he would follow that up with, I texted him last week. And I have no doubt that he absolutely did. Like, he still had conversations with those record reps about, I'm sure, artists and songs. And knowing Matt, probably the stiffs, the hits and the stiffs.
That's right. That's funny you mentioned Rick Sudikoff. He was the guy from Atlantic Records, and he told me once, because Matt wouldn't be bashful, he would certainly ask if there was a concert coming, he would want to be there. So he would ask for tickets to give away, and of course, maybe for him or I to go to or whoever. I remember Rick Sudikoff told me that Matt Leuking, he would show up at the opening of a door. If there was music involved or whatever, he just loved going to shows and concerts so much. And luckily in this industry, at least back then, we got to do a lot of that kind of stuff.
Sure, opening of a door. I do remember that story.
That's a quote, yep.
Yes. Oh, that's Matt, our beloved Matt.
Yes. What a guy. Just so sad about this, but great opportunity to shine some positive stuff on Matt finally after all the sad stuff this week.
I've been talking about it for the last hour or so. What's the one thing that pops into your brain when you think about Matt? Instantly, what's the one thing?
Music, passion, radio.
That was 3 things, Steve. You didn't follow the rules.
Man, I should know better, right?
I know.
Yeah. I would definitely say music, Just loved music. What else can you say?
That's right. Well, we appreciate your time this afternoon, Steve. I know you have a busy day running some other radio stations somewhere, and taking a few minutes to help pay tribute to our buddy Matt Leuking. We do appreciate your time.
You bet. Thank you so much for doing this, Jamie and Kyle.
Gavin DeGraw, one of Matt's favorites on B92.7. It's today's best music. I'm Jamie Dawson, and in fact, I spent a lot of time last night on YouTube listening to Gavin DeGraw songs just because I know it meant a lot to Matt, and Matt meant a lot to me. We're tributing him this afternoon. We've talked to a lot of folks, friends and former broadcasters, and sometimes in broadcasting, I guess all the time in broadcasting, we as broadcasters try to create the product, but we have to have people go out and sell the product. And Mr. Dave Vallandingham is in the studio now. Dave worked with us a number of years ago, selling the radio station. What's your favorite memory of Matt?
There's probably too many to mention, except that when I met Matt in '98, and he was a DJ, and of course I was in sales, and there's always that argument and the wall between both of us.
Some headbutting.
Yes, headbutting. And but one thing I loved with Matt is we could always, I'll say argue, but we didn't argue. We would debate the ratings and the numbers and the format and the music. And he was just not a top 40 guy. He knew AC, hot AC, urban, country. He really lived and breathed music. And he'd always like to sit down with me and find out about the ratings and what I thought, and he would always listen, and he'd always interject his opinion, of course, and but he was always pretty much right on. He knew, he lived and breathed music.
Wait, and you bring up a good point. He was a debater,
yes,
but he wasn't an arguer. I don't think I ever got in an argument with Matt.
Not I say arguing but it is debating, and
but he never raised his voice. Never got excited. Was always so even keeled, even when he disagreed with you.
Never saw him mad at anybody, and like I said, I met him in '98. Our paths went away. He would always call me and text me, and he'd say lunch. So we'd always once a month meet at Saratoga for lunch, even when we were out of radio, and continually talk about radio and discuss where they're at, what they're doing. He always stayed in touch with everybody. He made it a point to go out of his way to take time for everybody that crossed his paths, whether it was in the sales side, especially on the DJ side. And I probably hadn't seen Matt a week since it happened, but I miss him much. I miss him a lot, and I'm sorry this had to happen. And he does not know how many people really loved him and cared about him. So that's all I got to say.
That's well said, Dave. Absolutely well said. In fact, I think Matt would be. I think he would be almost embarrassed if he knew the number of people who are, torn up by his loss and remembering and celebrating him via social media, via the radio, via the various avenues that I've heard of. I think he's so humble that I think he'd be almost embarrassed that we're talking about him this much.
Probably so.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in, Dave. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got B92.7 today. We are paying tribute to our friend Matt Leuking. I'm Jamie Dawson, Kyle West in the studio as well. And we're talking about Matt. We're celebrating Matt, and we're talking to a lot of our old friends, many of whom are broadcasters that we worked with over the years here in Terre Haute.
This next guy was one of the reasons I wanted to do radio. In fact, when I was in middle school, I actually won a Sega Genesis from this guy at the Honey Creek Mall.
Oh, you totally one-upped me.
Yeah, he was giving away a Sega, and the song Yaki Da was popular, and I got a question right, and I won a Sega Genesis from this guy right here.
You know what my story is?
What?
I went to see him at the Marathon gas station that's now the KFC up at Lafayette in Fort Arizona.
The gas station that's now the KFC. Okay.
Yeah, that's how long ago it was. And I had my bumper sticker on there, and he gave me a Tevin Campbell CD.
Oh,
and I was like, exactly. I was like, can I trade this one out?
Who is Tevin Campbell?
Exactly. Who is Tevin Campbell? How about who is Mike Eccles? Welcome to the airwaves this afternoon, and thank you for joining us as we pay honor and tribute to Mr. Matt Leuking. You were on the airwaves here years ago.
Oh, it's been a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the gray hairs to prove it.
That's right. So when did you first meet Matt?
I first met Matt Leuking, and I don't want to reiterate everything I said on my Facebook post, but yeah, when the other station first flipped that format and we just lit up the Midwest, there were so many young people who wanted to come in and wanted to be a part of the excitement that we generated at the time. And unfortunately, as happy as we were for their excitement, we couldn't use them. And then 1996, Matt Leuking walks in. And there was just something about his energy, his enthusiasm, but also his humbleness, his willingness to learn. And what's more is, as we, trying to teach him, he actually taught us a lot of things too. And I think indicative of what he taught us is the reason why so many of us are honoring him and are calling in today and just taking this whole afternoon just to talk about him.
Absolutely true. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just, one of the things I teach in my class here at the college is I talk about interpersonal communication. Pretty much the same course I taught at ISU, and my good friend Jennifer Mullen will tell you about this. Interpersonal relationships are so important. And there was no one who could establish an interpersonal relationship, a good positive one, with not only people he worked with, but if he was just out on a remote and someone just came up for the first time and said, I listen to you all the time, he would talk to you like he'd known you for 20 years.
Absolutely.
so personable and just such a wonderful person.
I couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said that better myself. Do you just want to do this, Mike? Because you're doing a great job.
It's been a long time since I did this, but it's fun being back on the air in the Wabash Valley, that's for sure.
You actually sound perfect. You're saying all the right things about Matt. You worked in your coworker or your former coworker at ISU very seamlessly. I mean, I think you're doing a nice job as a broadcaster.
Well, I rehearsed this about 34 times in my car before I called you guys up, so...
Well, nice work. So you met Matt in 1996, and then and then remind me when you left the Wabash Valley.
I left the Wabash Valley in 1999, and I've been for the last 18 years at Bergen Community College in Paramus. By the way, you got to love technology. Here I am in my car just an hour ago, 10 miles from the George Washington Bridge in northern New Jersey. I'm listening to B92.7 in my car. I think that's just great.
That is awesome.
Could you have imagined that in 1999 when you were here in Terre Haute?
No, not at all. Not at all. As a matter of fact, well, actually, yes, the beginnings of the Internet, and since then I have paid attention, and one of the things that I actually used to love is just recently in the last couple of years, I'd be at my computer at work or I'd be at home just doing something on it all, and I would listen to Matt on the radio.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the guys who I still so enjoyed not only remembering him from the past, but listening to him today because he still was so good on the air. He just knew how to deliver things. He knew how to talk about the artist and the music, and he knew how to show passion for what was going on in the Wabash Valley. And if there was a Sycamore basketball game, Leuking could tell you all about it.
And they better hit their free throws.
Absolutely.
He would be upset. You know, it's funny that you say that because it's almost like you could listen to Matt from far away and maybe even miss, a few shows here and there, but lock yourself back in on, say, a Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, and he would tell you all about what's going on in Terre Haute like you never left.
Oh, absolutely.
He was just so in tune with every event, every Jonah fish fry, everything. And the thing is, Matt didn't just say, hey, there's this event going on at this church or this school or whatever. He would say things like, my friend Charlie's putting on this event. And that was absolutely the truth because he had a friend named Charlie who was putting on that event because the dude knew everyone.
He knew everyone, and it wasn't just him dropping a name. He actually was friends with that person, and they were proud to say they were friends with him. One of the things I had heard earlier from our old friend Steve Smith is talking about how he would chat back and forth as recently as this past Saturday with Matt. I enjoyed the heck out of that, too. Using social media, I could keep in touch, and of course, of all the people I've chatted with Kyle once in a while, maybe Chuck Mason or Chad. I know Chad Edwards was on earlier. Julie, I've loved my Jules. But, going back and forth with Matt, one of the things I loved about Matt, and you guys probably know this too, he loved nostalgia. He would go back and, one of the things we did when we first started up the other station is we'd bring on the old guys like Johnny Palmer or John Marvel, and, Matt loved that kind of stuff. And so when we would chat online, through Facebook and, the Messenger, he would talk about some of the things we did back 20 years ago. And of course, it was Matt who brought us together for that 10-year reunion in 2005. And he did a fantastic job.
Yep, that was Matt. Always bringing people together.
Matt loved that moment. And that's the kind of thing that that was who he was. And I can't even believe I'm saying that's who he was. I should be saying that's who he is.
I know.
And the anger that I still feel, one of the things you might have seen on Facebook, just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
But I love what you guys are doing today. This is, and I hope more and more listeners, people who maybe Matt didn't know your name, but 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you were at a remote and you walked up to him. And if there's one thing we'll all remember about Matt, and I was so glad that when I went on to the Tribune Star online newspaper, the one picture they posted of Matt was one where just that big, round smile that he had on his face. That's what I'll always remember.
That was a guy who loved life.
Yes.
All parts of it. He just absolutely loved it.
Oh man, this is so difficult, and for everyone in the world. And one of the things I kept thinking about was that a lot of you have been writing about and talking about. It really is a family. When it comes to the amount of radio stations and the amount of radio people or TV people in Terre Haute, there's not that many. and we all get to know each other, and we all get to commiserate, and sometimes you may not like everybody, but everybody liked Matt Leuking. No matter what radio station you work for, no matter what TV station you my good friend John Swainer over at THI TV, he'll tell you he liked him the first time he met him.
Absolutely.
That was Matt Leuking. He was a part of that TV radio family in Terre Haute that we're all so sorry we're going to miss.
Hey, Mike, we've got somebody in studio that would like to say hi to you real fast.
Sure, Kyle.
Oh, hey, Mike Eccles.
Is that my Jules?
You know it is.
Oh, Julie, it's so good to hear your voice. I do hear it every once in a while when I tune in online.
Oh, it's great to hear your
voice. You
voice.
look fantastic, and I'm going to tell you right now, I did watch that report on the TV news yesterday online, and you did your very best to really put into perspective how much everyone is going to miss Matt Leuking.
Well, thank you so much, because we definitely feeling it today.
You're one of that group. When I think of Matt, I think of you. You were still a senior in high school. You used to come in to do an air shift in your volleyball uniform. And
this is true.
You were part of that crew. You were the people who were so passionate and excited about that other station and then the brand new thing that was coming in, and you knew how to do it. And Matt was definitely one of them, and we're all going to miss him.
We're totally going to miss Matt. It's hard to believe that we're here, but again, we're doing our best to celebrate and share some stories and maybe even laugh a little bit. Matt was always he was always a good sport. He got a lot of ribbings from a lot of different people, but he was always a good sport and never raised his voice, never got super mad when somebody would laugh at him. I don't know if that was your relationship with him, Mike, but I know many of us here would always joke about his Post-its and various other things, and Matt would just go, okay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he was so easy. He was so easy to pick on because he would roll right off his back.
Yeah.
He knew it wasn't serious. But you know what? He was so humble. He was so humble, and one of those terms that you hear every once in a while that maybe is overused, but he was certainly a gentle giant. He really was. Just that big old happy-go-lucky Matt was coming in the door, or especially there was no one else I wanted with me on a remote or helping out with a concert than Matt Leuking, because I knew he would be able to handle anything, and he did.
He did.
He really did.
He did it with grace. He was a gentle giant unless you were playing basketball with him.
No body control at all. No
but
control.
I tell you what, if he bumped you underneath the boards, he would apologize, wouldn't he?
He would. You just honestly hoped he was on your team.
Well, you had to put the ice pack on your eye first, and then he would apologize.
That's right. Hey, Matt, can you drive me home? I'm
blind in one eye.
Yeah.
Matt, could you drive me to Union Hospital? I'm really shaky here, but he of course would.
Absolutely, he would. And he would tell you why it wasn't his fault.
He would also take the 60-foot three-point shot, as I've heard both Jamie and Kyle describe. 3, 2, 1. He didn't care if he was 50 feet from the basket. We're shooting.
That was classic Matt.
Chucking it up.
That's right. And then at the end of that, he would go, "Well, I didn't want to take it."
Which means in Matt talk, he absolutely wanted to take it.
Oh, absolutely.
And I would say things like, "Matt, who is pick up basketball? Who doesn't want to shoot?" Like he'd be like, "Well, I didn't really want to right then." I'm like, "Yeah, you did. It's fine. We all want it. We're here to shoot. Nobody's here to set screens."
Too funny.
We're going to miss our Matt Leuking. Well, Mike, we appreciate you taking a few moments to visit with us today. Know you're a busy guy. Know you're brand new dad. So
yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Love you, Mike Eccles.
Absolutely.
Love you, Jules. I miss you, and I see those great pictures of your kids. They're growing so fast.
They are. Hey, thank you so much for calling.
All right, you got it, Jules.
Take care, Mike.
Jamie, Kyle, take care, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll be back with more in just moments.
Well, hello, lady. My house.
It's B92.7 celebrating Matt Leuking. Is it just me, or can you see Matt Leuking listening to an urban song like that and walking in and making some sort of he makes some sort of face when he walk in the studio, kind of like almost raising the roof, like like he was. You can't see that, Jules?
Oh no, I can totally see it because that was our thing.
It was like being a little bit hip.
Oh no,
a little bit hip.
Matt Leuking and I love us some old school hip hop and old school R&B. I mean, he loved music, but I think people miss that about him. He loved many genres and many different kinds, and we love to chat about music. But New Edition, some old school Bobby!
Oh, we'll do some Bobby in a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We loved it.
I got a message from Trish Whitaker. She's a longtime listener. Met Matt, probably 10 or 12 years ago. And, just like a lot of people, he made her day by helping her with an experience and getting her some passes to meet Bret Michaels.
Classic.
Oh.
And Trisha's story, get this, Trisha's story is that they're going back to meet Bret Michaels, and she mentions Matt's name in the earshot of Bret. And Bret Michaels, she swears to God, Bret Michaels says, Matt Leuking? You know Matt Leuking?
He loves some Matt Leuking.
Because Bret knew who Matt was, because they talked all the time. We used to joke a lot about his... Matt would say, I'm interviewing Bret this afternoon, and he would have his 37.5-minute interview that he'd have with him. Like, but you gotta have that down to like 4 or 5 minutes, Matt. It's gotta be a little short. Yeah, it'll be fine. 37.5 minutes with Bret Michaels. But that was Matt. Loved the artist, loved the music.
Loved all the behind the scenes, the stories,
Everything.
the emotions that led to it. Loved it.
Behind the music. Literally loved it. It's B92.7 playing today's best music, paying tribute to our friend Matt Leuking. We are having a celebration of his life this afternoon. We got Kyle West in the studio. We got Jules in the studio. And we got a blast from the past on the phone right now. Just say hello. Just say hello.
What's up, Wabash Valley?
Oh, I know that voice anywhere. Woo!
My man Apollo back on the airwaves to talk about our friend Matt Leuking. I know it's a rough week, but how are you doing?
I'm okay. When I first heard about it, extremely tough because he didn't deserve it. One of the greatest guys I've ever met in life. He didn't deserve that. Amazing guy, but even a more amazing friend to me. When I got divorced some time ago, Matt was the first person that I went to for help because I was in real trouble. And I don't think most people knew that about him, how giving and caring and compassionate he was. But he didn't even hesitate. He said, absolutely, I got you. And he let me live with him for about 5 or 6 months, and he saved me. He literally saved my life. So, yeah, it's tough.
That's a great story. I mean, that's just Matt. That's totally Matt.
That is the man. He great entertainer, loved music, all the points that everybody is hitting on today. But I think people might miss the fact that his heart was as big as it gets. I mean, I've seen him with his brother, with his mom, and I'm really close to his brother. I've seen him, and the guy is just, he's one of the greatest people I've ever known.
And that to add to that is that he was so helpful, and he didn't need any credit, because in the situation that you're describing, I bet very casually in a conversation, he said, he mentioned your name and then said, yeah, that you'd been staying with him. And I come to find out, I mean, I talk to Matt 4 or 5 times a week, and I come to find out that he said, yeah, he's been staying with me for a couple of months. This is the first time that he's even mentioned it, because he doesn't need credit. He didn't need that stuff.
It's a great point. It's a great point. And not only was he compassionate, but he was really sensitive. When I was staying with him, he was having a tough time with a relationship. And we would talk. We would talk for hours and hours. And I've seen that guy cry several times. And Matt. Matt was a bear of a guy. I mean, he was a man's man. But when you really got to know him, he would show you a side of himself, a side of his humanity that he didn't show a lot of people, and it was riveting. It was touching. It made me a better person. I'm going to miss him.
We all are. What's the one thing when you see it, when you hear it, when you smell it, whatever, that makes you think of Matt Leuking?
There's not just one thing, but I'll give you a couple things. Okay, one thing is the dude's a competitor. I've heard your stories about basketball, and I've heard his stories about basketball, and the guy, it could be a beast. I mean,
your
watch
tennis
out.
matches were legendary. I've
There
heard
you
about
go.
those tennis matches.
That's where I was headed. Our tennis matches. So Jules, so he would mention those to you also?
Oh my gosh, I heard about your tennis showdowns many times.
Oh, yeah, we would meet up, and we would talk about it like it was just going to be a lighthearted affair. Hey, man, let's get together and hit a couple balls. Okay. I'd come over, he'd have the elbow pads on and the knee brace. We would go at it. It was some of the best memories of my life are with Matt Leuking. The other thing, and I've touched on it already, just an absolute true friend. Shirt off his back. Stop whatever he's doing. Give you his last dime. Man, that was my man. Called him Skywalker. I didn't call him Matt like you guys did. I didn't call him Leuking. I called him Luke, and then I just went ahead and made it Skywalker. And whenever I said, "Hey, Skywalker," he knew it was me. It was his man, Steve.
Oh, great stories.
Gonna miss him.
Absolutely gonna miss him.
May I say something really quick? You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Absolutely stellar. Great job. Keep it up. So glad you did it. He absolutely deserved it.
It's very kind. We talked a lot in the studio and beforehand about it, and there's a dynamic to Matt that I think he'd have been a little embarrassed about all the attention, but this is radio. This connection that we make with people is exactly what radio is, and man, Matt would have eaten this up. Matt is eating this up. He loves this.
I would agree with that. One more thing I want to say that had to do with Matt. I've been trying to write a book for years and years, and Matt and I lost touch last 5 years or so because I left town and tried to find myself, and I would get these texts and these phone calls from Matt from time to time. What's up? Haven't heard from you. Hope you're okay. And he would put in there, I hope you're still thinking about the book. I hope you haven't forgotten the book. And I finished the book. I wrote the book because of Matt Leuking, and I finished it because of his brother, Eric. And I put him in the dedication. My man, Skywalker. Love you.
That's awesome. That's a great story, Apollo. Great story. We appreciate you spending a few minutes and sharing Skywalker to you. Matt Leuking to us, but Skywalker to you. And
absolutely.
And celebrate
Love you,
his life.
Apollo.
Love you, Jules. Love you, girlfriend.
Love you so much.
You take care of yourself. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Take care, Apollo. It's B92.7, 5 for Fighting 100 Years. Man, that was one of Matt's absolute favorite songs.
An anthem. He wrote blogs based on 5 for 5.
The blog that you dug out,
Yes.
that he wrote 4 years ago about that song that still rings true, like he wrote it yesterday. I went back and listened to that song a number of times last night on YouTube. Just, I mean, so insightful.
And if you didn't know, Matt named every one of his blog posts after either a song title or lyric. So there's something neat behind each and every one.
He was so cute in that way.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just Matt. We're celebrating Matt's life today, our tribute to Matt Leuking. We had guests on all afternoon, friends and former broadcasters who worked with Matt. And now on the line we have Ben Davis. You remember him a number of years ago here in Terre Haute. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Good. It's we're having a celebration of Matt's life. We're trying not to make it a somber thing. We're trying to get through the sadness and celebrate the great guy that Matt was. So we're glad that you could join us on the phone this afternoon. You know, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Matt Leuking?
Well, the first thing off the top of my head is Post-it notes. and I know that sounds like a really random thing, but you asked me what's the first thing that came to my head. And it's the hundreds of Post-it notes that guy had all over. That was his record keeping.
He loved
had
it.
him in his he had him in his wallet. He had him on his desk. He had him in his apartment. He had him everywhere. When we would go play tennis, he would have Post-it notes writing down when we would go play tennis. So it's those little nuances that you kind of remember and really kind of help you just appreciate the whole that was Matt Leuking.
He just had his quirks, and you couldn't help but kind of laugh at him and kind of pick on him, but love him just the same.
Oh yeah, I mean, Jamie, you and I both know how deep of discussions we would get over, you know, maybe a couple beers about music, about life, about relationships, and the things that would go between all of us. It can't be repeated on the radio.
Of course
quite
not.
Frankly,
no, not at all.
But you know, that was one of the great things about Matt is he had passion. He had passion about the things that he loved, and that was evident in radio. I mean, he loved radio. He breathed the radio. And you could just tell that he had such a big heart for the community and for Terre Haute and for what radio could provide to the community. And you know, I remember going on pool patrols with him. He and I in the radio station van in the back roads of Illinois, driving beyond the speed limit to get to where we need to go. And
I think I remember a story in there.
Say that again.
I think I remember a story in there. Didn't Matt almost hit a mailbox or something?
Okay, so so my life flashed before my eyes.
Yes.
Coming back from Casey, Illinois, we're on this 2-lane road, and so we're traveling at a good clip. And so there's a couple cars that are in our lane that are slowing down, and Matt's having none of this. He's like, hey, you know what, we got to be back at the radio station. I got to shift at 3, so he starts to pass them on the left right about the same time that the car in front of the car that was slowing down was turning left onto the street that was there intersecting with the road. And so he slams on his brakes. Like, my life flashes before my eyes. All the crap that's in the back of the van flies to the front of the van, and it's like, and then the best part about it, and this kind of encapsulates who Matt was. He stops, and we're completely stopped on the wrong side of the street, mind you. And he's like, "Well, I didn't know that person was going to turn."
That's pretty much Matt.
And then, well, let's get going. Okay, all right, Matt. Meanwhile, my pants need to be changed, and it was just there's just one of the many things that I'll remember and miss about Matt, and his 45-minute conversations with Bret Michaels, and
you're not the first person to bring up Bret Michaels today.
That's amazing. That's amazing. we need to get Bret Michaels on the phone, or at least play Every Rose Has Its Thorn a couple times for Matt. I think he would appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, Ben, we appreciate you taking a few moments to call and be part of the show and Matt's life. And I know in my conversations with Matt over the years, I know you meant a lot to Matt. So we do appreciate you taking a few moments and joining us today.
Well, I'm happy to share my thoughts and my fond memories of Matt. And I know as much as it hurts for me to know that he's gone, I know that his memory will live on forever, especially in the Terre Haute community.
And I think he has stock in Post-it notes, too, so I don't think that's going anywhere either.
I love it.
It's B92.7 with Poison. Matt's BFF, Bret Michaels.
Classic. It's Classic.
He totally loved that stuff. We're paying tribute to Matt Leuking this afternoon. We're trying to have a little bit of fun in celebrating Matt's life. We've had such an awful week. It's nice to have a few hours where we can laugh about some of the stories about Matt. We brought a new friend in, an old friend, a new friend today, Mr. Aaron Green, who I know has a number of funny stories when it comes to Matt, working with him over the years. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're hanging in there.
First and foremost, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, we're hanging in there. We're enjoying the last couple hours.
Yeah, it's so good to hear you guys again. And let me just say, all the former people at that other radio station that is now working at this radio station, you guys are making it 100% great. They lost out on all of us leaving, and you guys doing what you do there, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, let me just say. And then today is just another great day for what you guys are doing.
That's very kind, very kind. So tell me your memory of Matt. If one just pops into your brain, what is it?
I've got so many. I mean, Matt was one of my best friends, and he meant a lot to the community, and I feel selfish for being almost where people will reach out to me and say, "Hey, Aaron, I'm sorry for your loss," and I feel selfish for saying thank you because it wasn't just me, it wasn't just you, it was the entire community that lost Matt Leuking over just senseless stuff. And I have a lot of stories of Matt, and I'm going to say about 98% of them I can't tell on the radio because I spent a lot of time with Matt.
That's fair.
I spent a lot of time with Matt Leuking. Matt Leuking was my best man at my wedding. That's how much I looked up to that man. He stood next to me on the day I got married, and I wouldn't have, it was either between him or my brother, and I had to go to my brother and say, hey, listen, I'm going to have Matt do this because, Matt's my dude.
Wow.
But I'm going to say the one thing that really, really reminds me of Matt, and this is kind of messed up, but I'm going to say Lil Flip. Lil Flip.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. Oh, my.
You went there.
Yes.
I did.
Game
Here,
over.
let me just give you a little insight. And if he were here right now to hear me say this, he would be, he'd probably be mad at me, and he'd say this didn't happen, but I'm telling you, this happened. He went into his office when we had all those people beating on the doors, wanting their money back. He went and locked himself in the office.
He called me.
The police.
He called me.
And left me out there by myself. And I'm freaking out, man. I'm like, there's people everywhere. And I'm beating on his door to let me in. He would not let me in the darn office.
He called me. He said, Kyle, we've got a situation. We need some extra security down here. I said, I'm busy, Matt.
A situation.
We have a situation.
Can you guys hang on? I'm trying to queue up some Lil Flip.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And another thing that really, and listen to you guys, Apollo touched on it, was on how competitive Matt was. Because when Jamie, you said, we're not out here to set screens, that dude would be laying into you. I mean, he would let you have it.
He wanted to win.
And oh my God, did he ever? Here, check this out. We were on opposite teams playing. I was not on Matt's team, and like you said, you wanted to be on Matt's team. I'll never forget this either. We were at the Happiness Bag playing. We'd go there on Sundays and play. And he was jawing. He was running his mouth because they were winning. And I'm pretty competitive too, man. So I'm jawing back at him, and I decided to start D'ing Matt up. And Matt's a big dude, and I'm not.
Oh,
okay?
my left shoulder's
so
well aware.
He's beating me up, man. He is laying into me, and I start mouthing off, and he starts mouthing off, and all of a sudden, I feel the basketball. I push him. That's what I push him, and I feel the basketball get slammed into the side of my head. And I kind of look up, and he's just pressing that ball against the side of my head because he's so mad at me. And then I punch Matt in the side of his giant red head, hand just hurting. We were so mad at each other, but after that was over, we went out, we went to Applebee's, and we just sat there and laughed about it. Matt had such a big heart and was just lived in a moment, and it's absolutely killed me for this to happen. I didn't get to talk to Matt near as much as I wanted to because it's, life, and I live in Cleveland, Ohio now, but he would reach out to me couple times a month, see what I'm doing. The Cubs went to the World Series, and I was just talking to that guy about it because he was a giant Cubs fan, just like me. And it's just, I don't know, I got so much emotions, and I sit and thought about what I would say about Matt, and I don't know. I'm lost now, man, and I'm driving home right now to say goodbye to my friend, and I'm sure I'll see all of you there, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with all you guys and celebrating Matt. And you guys are doing a great job, and in the Wabash Valley, and I'll say it for all of them, we appreciate you doing what you're doing. Thank you very much, Kyle and Jamie. You guys have done a fabulous job. Julie, I saw you on TV the other day just pouring your heart out, and I hurt for you guys. I really do, because you guys got to see him every day. And you guys are the lucky ones to get to spend as much time as Matt as you did. And I was lucky for him to call me his friend, and not for me to be his friend. He called me a friend, and that means a lot to me.
Aaron, it's been a tough week here, as it has been with you, and I know it's difficult to get on here and talk about Matt. Now, on the other hand, you did come with the "I punched him in his big red head" story, so you did bring it. I mean,
and you did say Little Flip,
yeah,
which is everything for us
too. So we do appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I could still make somebody laugh, because nobody else thought the story was funny. Little Flip was not funny. I saw my life flash before my eyes that day.
Yeah.
Hey, I love you, Aaron.
Yes, love you, Aaron. Appreciate
love
the stories.
Love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Aaron Green.
We are B92.7 this afternoon. We're playing tribute to our friend Matt Leuking. Lots of stories, lots of laughs, which I think in some way is therapeutic for us to be able to have some laughs in a way.
Yes, I honestly feel a little too close to you right now.
Oh, lean in, Jules.
My goodness.
Lean in.
No, I've received so many calls from people who really just couldn't wait to share their memories of Matt. And I wanted to touch on, the mayor reached out and wanted to say something. He was actually in a meeting right now, but was thinking
Which
about
meeting?
Matt. I think it was a budget meeting.
Oh, okay. Matt would have something to say about that.
Yeah, he would love that. But the mayor
Absolutely.
thinking of him.
Gotta keep the pool open.
Yes, and Matt always loved to talk politics and things with local leaders and talk about what we could do to improve the Wabash Valley. So that's one of the many things that people loved. I also...
You also had a message from Will, who we used to work with here locally.
I do. You see how my phone has just...
There's a million of them. Hey, Julie, earlier when I said have that thing from Will ready...
Yeah.
That was right now.
Yeah, I struggle, but
if you could
it's
talk
my life
about
right
that.
now.
But Will said, I remember that time that Matt and I listened to music and, okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Wow,
sorry.
it's-
You're going to have to... I'm finding it, Will. I'm so sorry, Will. I'm finding it.
This is what we call stall. We're stalling.
You're not very good at it.
I know.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah, look, I'm not good at
Will said he wished he could call in, but he had to go back to work. He said it was great hearing us, Mike Eccles, old voices on the radio. The thing that he wanted to say about Matt, he was like a big brother to all of us that came into radio. He gave me and many others great advice, but also helped when we needed it. I remember in early 2007, I was going through a rough time, and Matt could tell. We talked about a lot of things from radio and music to life. During that time, our chats at FYE, #throwback, and hanging out with him and my radio family got me through some of the lowest points in my life. His positive outlook on life and always being there for others is what I will miss most. That's Will the Thrill.
Oh, love Will, and I love his discussion on Matt. Isn't it interesting that Matt leaves radio and he goes and works at a place all about music?
Right.
I mean, that's just
crazy.
That's just Matt. We keep talking about music, and
one more, we're going to talk to Eric Michaels, and one more, Dave Hunt from the Mac Daddies. Oh. Dave, he loved him some Dave Hunt, loved the Mac Daddies. I don't have a song ready. I don't have a song ready as he pulls out the sheet music.
Yeah, he loved to sing a song that he wasn't at all ready for.
So Mac Daddies, Matt Leuking loved you guys.
We got Eric Michaels in the studio as well. Eric, a longtime friend of Matt.
We don't go back as far back as you guys go back. So hearing the stories of what you guys got to experience, when you guys were across the street at the other radio station, and when you guys got here, that's been really cool to hear this afternoon. You guys have been doing a phenomenal job.
I appreciate that. So what's the thing that you'll remember from Matt? The thing.
I don't think I can tell you just one, but I've spent 15 years in this business, and before that, I remember growing up when all you guys were were across the street, and
Shut your face.
I remember listening to you guys. It was you and Steve Smith, and all the voices that you've had on this afternoon. I remember listening to each and every one of you when I was getting into this business. So it was really great to hear all you guys again. And I think one of the things I'm going to miss most about Matt is him and I go back a long ways. Before working together here at the radio station, playing music together, wedding receptions and parties and things, and then for several years we would have what we would call DJ summits. Right, we each one of us
conference where you'd go to like Nashville or something.
No, it wasn't that. No. This was Saturday night, typically at Charlie's. After we would both get done playing a wedding reception, we'd sit together, and his buddy Troy, who we heard from earlier, and maybe a couple other people would usually there too, and we would talk about the wedding receptions we just got done playing, usually over a cheese tray. Matt probably had a Coke, I probably had a beer because I was that friend, and but those are moments that are great memories. And then I remember, I've been on High 99 for years, and I was charged with helping this station out and trying to build it. And that's when I got a hold of you, Jamie, to join the team. I got Matt to join the team, and I'll never forget him and I went to lunch when we started talking about it. We were sitting at Clapper Girl, and I just remember him looking me dead in the eye across the table. He goes, "Well, I really think I can help you out."
Total Matt.
Classic Matt.
Total Matt.
And help me out he did. If it was about formats and music theory and why we would play this song and just
stiffs.
He loved those stiffs. So we got to play the new Bruno Mars. We got to play the new Ariana Grande or whatever. And so it was just great memories of a great guy. And it's just unfortunate that these circumstances have played out, and just I don't know what else to say. It's as radio people we're rarely at a loss for words, but I think a lot of us are lost words this week.
It's been a difficult week, and it's been difficult to come up with the right emotions, which always takes me back to something with Matt. As big a guy he was, man, he had some emotions. You'd get into those in-depth conversations with him about anything.
About anything. And it'd be, my day was wrapping up about 7, right when he's rolling in, and he sits down in my office and we start chatting about name random subject. The next thing I know, here it is 7:45. My wife is texting me, "Dinner's ready. Where are you?" Oh, I'm talking to Matt. She goes, "Okay, I'll wait on dinner until about 9 when we get home." So
classic Matt.
Classic Matt. Classic Matt.
Definitely a guy that we miss. He'll never be replaced. And that's why we've left the 7 to midnight spot just kind of open for right now, because we didn't feel that any other shoe or any other person could fill those shoes right now. So
one of my favorite memories of you and Matt.
I'm afraid where this is going to go.
Is in those conversations. No, is the city of restaurants, the hashtag city of restaurants that he loved, and that he loved being the first on the street with what was happening, and he somehow knew all that stuff. I don't know how he was he had sources for that, right? Of all things, but you liked to try to sneak one in on him every so often.
every once in a while. One of the best stories that I know, because one thing that Matt would do when it came to the restaurants, and you heard like David Haynes from the Chamber of Commerce say Matt was always at these ribbon cuttings at every one of them, but particularly restaurants he enjoyed the most. Yes. So one day he would come in here and go, "Well, we got a new restaurant coming to the east side or the north side or whatever else." And I said, "All right, Matt, well, what is it?" He goes, "I can't tell you."
And in just that way, Eric, you got it perfect.
So Jules, when you and I were talking, and I was working on trying to bring you onto the team on High 99.
This was great. This is great.
He stops me in the hallway and he goes, "So, Eric, you got any leads on a new midday person for High 99? And I said, "Yeah, I do." And he goes, "Really?" And I said, "You'd probably know her too." And he goes, "Really, Eric? Who is it?" And I go, I can't tell you yet. So, it's one of those stories. Jamie, you wrote on Facebook earlier, nobody gave that guy more grief than you did, or probably definitely the three of us guys in this room. And Jules, you probably gave him a lot too. But that was the kind of relationship we had with the man. It was loving, and it was just anything you'd want in a friend you had in Matt Leuking. And the fact that we are now talking to him in the past tense breaks my heart. And thank God we have caught the people responsible for it. Yes. And hopefully they are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, because Matt did not deserve the fate that was dealt to him. He did not deserve for something like this to happen to him. And it's unfortunate that as I've heard people say, especially in Elvis Duran's piece, unfortunately, Matt's story has an ending, but hopefully we can continue his story by doing something in the community that he would be appreciative of, because there was no bigger champion for this community than Matt Leuking, because he was everywhere and he supported every local business that he possibly could in the Terre Haute and the surrounding areas. So hopefully we can add another chapter to his story by supporting something in the community.
You know, and we don't know exactly what that is yet. Matt's a unique guy where he was into so many things. You don't even know what thing to support in his honor because he was into so many things. But we are working on some.
We'll figure it out.
So this isn't we're going to be done with our tribute show here in a few minutes. But this isn't the end. Whereas Matt Leuking's legacy is going to carry on, because there's a group of leaders here in the community who are getting together to really make something possible. And I couldn't be more excited about that piece of it, Eric.
I am too. Regardless of what we decide to do, there's been some ideas tossed around, from, possibly a scholarship for somebody to go to ISU on a radio deal or whatever else, one of the many community things. But we'll figure out what exactly is the best way to honor him. And I'm sure between the four of us in this room and definitely other community leaders, we will find the best way that Matt's story does not end with this unfortunate tragedy this week, that it continues on in the best way we could possibly honor the man.
I can't help but look forward to that and have a little bit of a smile on my face.
Absolutely, because the arrangements are this weekend, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make the funeral on Saturday because I'm going to stand in for Matt, and I'm going to go DJ the wedding reception that he had booked Saturday night. And I know he would rather me be there making sure those people are entertained and have a good wedding reception than being down bawling my eyes out at his funeral, which is unfortunate that we have to do this weekend, but I just know he'd rather me be there playing the music for the people and honor him in that way.
And Eric, I need to extend a thank you, because I know we're going to be at the funeral this weekend, and there are going to be a lot of tears. And then as funerals often go, as we get together with people that we know and we love and we remember Matt, we're going to tell a lot of stories, and we're going to end up in some laughter, and we're going to end up in some joyousness, and we're going to have that moment where we look at the people and we say, gosh, it's so good to see you. I just wish it wasn't under these circumstances.
Right.
It happens at every funeral.
Every one of them.
And as sad as it's going to be, we're going to get that opportunity, and you truly are taking one for the team. And I don't know that anybody said thank you, but taking care of Matt's wedding while we can go is something I can't thank you enough for.
Well, you guys are a lot, like I said at the beginning, you guys go way further back with Matt than I do. It is way more important for especially the three of you and others in the community to be able to go down there and honor him. So it's not taking one for the team in any stretch of the imagination. When this happened, and I thought to myself, what is the one thing that I can do to help Matt and be there for him in his time of need? Because I know for a fact that if something bad happened to me, hopefully not to this extent, but for whatever reason, if I was sick, if I couldn't make a gig, if for any other reason under the sun, I knew I could pick up the phone. I could call Matt Leuking and I say, Matt, I'm in a pickle. I can't make it to the wedding reception. I got booked this Saturday. Can you help me out? He would be there. If he was free, he would be there. And that's what I'm doing for him this Saturday night. I'm not doing it for recognition or anything else like that. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is honoring our friend. And to me, that was the best way that I could do it, was to stand in for him and make a bride and groom very happy this weekend.
We truly appreciate it. We'll be back with more of the Matt Leuking Tribute Show in just a moment.
Let me give you some advice.
It's B92.7 playing today's best music and paying tribute to our friend Matt Leuking. He loved the New Radicals.
Loved the New Radicals.
In fact, quite the blog.
Yes, and it was just a beautifully written blog. Matt had a wonderful way with words and writing, and he loved to write. And his blogs would be so on point that he would take a song title or a lyric and then kind of expand on it, share his thoughts. And even these blogs are 4 and 5 years old. They're still so timely today. And that's just exactly who he was.
Exactly who Matt was. I was thinking about it. And one way I think all this attention would kind of embarrass Matt, because he was a humble guy. But I think he would... I think somewhere he's smiling because he touched so many people.
Well, I think, Matt prided himself on being a connector, knowing someone at business A and someone at business B, and Matt, I know Matt. He would love the connections that he's made and is still making. I've received emails from friends of Matt's that I never knew. And one gal in particular, she said, Matt always told me, you just love Jules. You guys had hit it off. And to hear him talking about, our relationship, it's unbelievable. And that's really who he was.
And that only works because he's so in tune with each individual person. He knows exactly who you are and what you like and what you don't like, and to be able to pair you up with someone else.
Right. I'm just going to say one thing and then I'm going to give it to you guys. Matt invested in people. And one thing I always loved about Matt is that he looked at radio the same way I did. You know, Elvis Duran even referenced it earlier. You know, we talk about listeners. I call them friends. And in fact, during my show, you'll hear me say, "Oh, friends, you won't believe what happened," because I talk to you guys every day. There are people I don't talk to every day. Matt understood that. Matt understood that connection was so important. And on my worst days, which some have been this week, it was hearing from you guys. It was being with these guys, hearing from all the people we have used to work with in the past. You know, 20 years of friendship is a long time and a lot of memories and a lot of stories. And I'm just so grateful that I knew him. I'm sad and I'm mad all at the same time. I wish I could have one more conversation, but I'm just forever grateful for his influence. And anytime I hear a new artist or a new song, I'm going to always think about Matt. And anytime I put these headphones on and I crack this mic, I will always think about Matt Leuking, his impact on me and in this community that he loved so very much. So I love you guys. I'm going to step out for a second, and I love you, Matt. Maddie, as I like to call.
Thank you, Jules.
Yes.
My relationship with Matt was bigger than I even thought it was, and it took these last few days to really internalize all of it. I think a lot of people that you know as work friends, or as the kids, their parents are your kids, or things like that. You kind of have one or two connections with them, and I realized that I have a million connections with Matt, and I haven't been able to get away from the release that you need in a situation like this, where you go do something that will get your mind off it. As people say, people are trying to help, and they say, "Jamie, why don't you go play basketball?" Well, it's because Matt would have been there. And I feel like that there's so many facets of my life that I feel like I want to talk to Matt about ISU basketball, and I want to talk to him about a concert and a wedding and everything else. And I realized this week that Matt was one of my very best friends, and I'm sad I didn't realize it before now, but I get that now. And the other thing that has really come to mind is, as we talk about all the outpouring of support that all the people that Matt touched. Matt didn't do any of that for notoriety. Again, I think he'd be a little embarrassed by the amount of support he has. But Matt changed the Wabash Valley. He changed people, and the way you look at things, and the way you analyze problems, and all that sort of stuff. And he always used the hashtag blessed for another day. And I think everybody at some point thinks, I wonder what life would be like when I'm gone. I think most people have thought that at some point. And I think Matt didn't want all this. This isn't what you strive for. This isn't why you live the life that you live. But look at the amount of people and the lives that Matt touched. And I think that's what I'm carrying forward, is the blessed for another day. How can I carry on Matt's legacy, and how can I positively impact the community and people, and continue to always be grateful, and like Matt would, always be blessed for another day.
Well, I don't know what else I could say after that. Matt touched so many people. He cared so much about Terre Haute and the Wabash Valley. And something that a lot of people don't bring up is Matt was born in Princeton. He came to Terre Haute, to Indiana State, to college, and he loved it so much here.
Never left.
He planted his roots and stayed. Matt was so talented, he could have gone anywhere he wanted to go and work in radio or work in music, whatever he wanted to do. And he loved it so much here, he didn't want to leave. And that's one of my favorite things about Matt. I was just last week kind of teasing him with him. We were talking about he's living out at the Village Quarter Apartments. He's been out there for 15 years. And I said, Matt, you ever going to finally decide you like Terre Haute enough to buy a house? And he said, you know what? He said, I think that time's coming. And we talked about it a little bit. And, it's just a real shame that we don't have him, here on the air anymore. Even if he wasn't on the radio with us, it's just a shame he's not in our community anymore. He was a champion for so many organizations. I can't tell you how many times, he would come in, right at the last minute, said, sorry, I was DJing a dance for a fundraiser. And a lot of that stuff was just done out of the goodness of his heart. He wasn't making any money doing it. He just did it to help out. And he was doing this 2 and 3 and 4 times a month. And, there's just nobody else that does stuff like that. So, that's how I'm going to remember Matt, a guy that everybody loved. And, before we leave, I just want to do a few thank yous. Thank you to the people that called in today. We made our jobs a lot easier because we got to reconnect with some memories. But number two, I want to thank the Terre Haute Police Department.
Yes.
And I want to thank the loss prevention folks up at Walmart in Clinton.
Yes.
If it wasn't for their actions, the people that committed this senseless tragedy, we may not know who it was. And the work of those folks and the work of the Terre Haute Police Department, I know some of the detectives worked around the clock getting this all solved. And thank you so much for making sure our friend, the people that committed this act against our friend will be brought to justice.
And thank you to you for listening. Matt loved nothing more than you. He loved listeners. He loved connecting, and we appreciate you spending some time on this journey over the last 3 hours to really celebrate the life of Matt Leuking. One of my very best memories of Matt is going to concerts. We both shared a love of Matchbox 20 and Rob Thomas. We went to a number of shows. We talked about it often, and I know he shared that love with other people as well. It's my understanding that this is an important song for...
Yeah, he had a fraternity brother of Matt's. He was very involved in his fraternity. Sent a message in and said this is a song that he knew Matt really liked, and it fit the situation very well, and asked that we could play it. So we'll close the show out with Rob Thomas. Here's Now Comes the Night on B92.7.
It's with extreme sadness that we announce the tragic passing of our very own Matt Leuking. Matt was the evening host on B92.7 and has not only been an integral member of our station, but a well-respected contributor to Terre Haute and the entire Wabash Valley. Known for donating his time and services to countless local organizations over the years and his love of music that is almost unmatched, Matt worked hard to put smiles on faces through music and fun. He was always there to help a friend in time of need and had a deep passion for being involved in the community. Our thoughts and prayers are with Matt's family and loved ones, who he loved so very much. We'll miss you, Matt. Thanks for the smiles and tunes from all of your friends at B92.7.